49ers preseason week 1 is in the books. The Titans got that victory. On today's episode, we're going to discuss and recap the game, go over some grades. We're going to talk about these joint practices being canceled with the next game against the Saints and the latest on the Brandon Ayuk trade right here all on the WayneBreezie Show. And we're going to do a special giveaway. Make sure you click that subscribe button and stick around to the end of the show.
So bright that we shine. All we know is the Niners. Ready go that is fine. So faithful to the bay. I be sipping gold bar whiskey on the rocks and a 24 karat gold on a watch. My 7-1 Chevy be tipping nonstop, sounding like Trent Williams on the block. So you know we can't stop. We be banging through your speakers. WayneBreezie on the field or in the bleachers. You can tune into my show and I'm a teacher. WayneBreezie, the 4-9 preacher. We so bright that we shining.
What's going on, 49er faithful? Make some noise. It's your boy WayneBreezie in the building. Welcome to the WayneBreezie Show. Yeah. Entertainment is back, baby. WayneBreezie live in full effect. What's going on, Breezy Bunch crew in the building? Shout out to everybody out there. I appreciate you guys. Let's get this show crack-a-lacking. We don't got a lot of time, but I got a lot of stuff I want to get off my chest. The 49ers week 1 preseason game is in the books against the Tennessee Titans. I like what I saw out there on the football field. Thought they could be a little bit better, but we'll go ahead and break down some of the grades. We'll grade the offense, the defense, and the special teams. We're going to talk about the joint practices being canceled against the New Orleans Saints. Kyle Shanahan pulled the button. We'll discuss that as well. And we're going to talk about the latest in the Brandon Ayuk trade saga, because what is going on? It's either Pittsburgh or it's either the 49ers. I need them to put this to bed already. Speaking of that, I'm going to be giving away an autographed Brandon Ayuk jersey at the end of the episode, so make sure you guys stick around. If you're new to the channel, make sure you click that subscribe button, because that's the only way you can participate. We're going to do a nice little trivia question. On top of that, hit that like button on your way in. Shout out to our sponsors over at Residency. Use that promo code SBLVIII, and you can save on your purchase. They got a crazy sale going on right now. They got pretty good sales. They got new stuff that's going to be coming out very soon. They're probably trying to get rid of some of the old joints, but some of the old joints still popping, like this joint I got on my head right now. So make sure you check this joint out, man. Use that promo code SFBreezy. You can go to www.residency.com, all right, and then use that promo code. The link is in the description of the show. All right, man, let's give the Breezy Bunch crew some shout-outs. Peachy Brown in the building. Thank you so much for tuning in to the show. Smash that like button. Please subscribe if you aren't. You'll love it. And don't forget to join the Breezy Bunch crew. It's something you're going to want to participate in with the new upcoming season. Jax, 49er Girl Knox is in the building. Hey, Wayne and Faithful. Hope everyone is having a great morning. Even though we didn't win, we had some players which stood out. I met my favorite players, and that sealed the deal for Jax. Congratulations, Jax met her favorite players. Don't bother me in the building saying good morning to everybody. Peachy, Jax, Wayne, and the Faithful. My man Manly Shavers is in the building. Happy Monday to the WayneBreezie Show. I love doing the show on Mondays. I was going to get rid of the Monday show, then I thought about it. This is the most time I have the most energy in the world. I have to do a WayneBreezie Show on Monday. Nick Nice is in the building. Nick Nice 21. Thank you so much for tuning in. I'm looking for all the members of the crew. My man Colin is in there with the hashtag BB. My boy Vince is in there. Happy Monday to everyone. Fish and Chips. What's going on, baby? Tanisha's in the building. Good morning, Breezy. And the chat. All right, 49ers channel is out there. What's going on, baby? I see you. My man Matthew in the building. And I got to show some special love with the air horns. And you know what? Air horns. I love it. My man Colin in the building. 15 months he has been a subscriber. Thank you so much for your contributions. I truly appreciate you. All right, man. Look, let's get down to the nitty-gritty of the show. Oh, I can't start the show without saying blessings to the beautiful, lovely Miss Debbie is in the building. What's going on out there? My West Coast family's in the building always, man. I appreciate you guys truly for waking up early and being a part of the show. All right. Again, don't forget to hit that like button. Don't forget to subscribe. Feel free to leave a comment as well right here, youtube.com/@TheWayneBreezie. Also, the exclusive content is going to be on the Patreon. So if you're not a member of the Patreon, there's 2 tiers up there. That's where you're going to get all the exclusive shows. I'm taking all my exclusivity and I'm putting it on the Patreon. So there's other shows up there. If you just love the support, go ahead and become a member of the Patreon. That's patreon.com/TheWayneBreezie. That's where the film breakdowns are going to be. If you're into that, I do my film breakdowns a little differently than some of the others. I go over something special. So make sure you guys tune into that. And I'll be doing my first preseason one this week right there on the Patreon. So that's patreon.com/@TheWayneBreezie. All right, man, let's get this show popping, man. All right, look, 49ers, we got to recap the game. They took an L, to the Titans. 49ers versus Titans recap. Look, I watched the game again. I went over some of the mental mistakes. I didn't watch the all 22 yet. I just got that, but I did rewatch the game. And I actually liked what I saw out there on the football field. We got to give a shout out. I'm going to give the air horns. Kyle Shanahan decided to step down. Well, not step down, but he decided to take a back seat in this game. And he didn't do any of the play calling. And Kubiak got the play calls. And I thought it was pretty cool. After we knew that, Bob Papa, I think, mentioned it on the feed, and Kubiak was out there calling the plays, and to watch that 49ers 7-play first drive go for a touchdown without Kyle Shanahan calling the plays, that was something cool, because I'm a little intrigued on what Kyle Shanahan is going to be doing. Is he evolving? You know what I'm saying? And that's something that we got to keep our eye on throughout the regular season. I know some people out there feel like, it was a preseason game. Kyle was just, allowing Kubiak to do whatever. But no, pay attention. Pay attention. Kyle might be alleviating some of the stress that he bears throughout the regular season by trusting, someone that he's been around for a while with actual play calling. You know what I'm saying? He's not currently the offensive coordinator. I believe is he the pass game coordinator? I can't remember what his title is. Clay Kubiak, I think that's who it is. I can't remember what his title is off the top of my head, but I thought that was pretty cool to watch Kubiak and the crew and that offense go down there. And the cool thing about it was it wasn't, it wasn't like it wasn't the first team offense, right? So that's how cool that was. Like, it wasn't the first team offense out there on the football field. You didn't have the first team offensive line. You know what I'm saying? That's dope. If the first team offensive line wasn't on the football field and they were able to go down there with penalties too, right? There was a penalty on that drive. I'm like, oh my gosh, it's a 3rd and long. I believe Ronnie Bell was the first person. He snagged that 3rd and long and converted it into a first down. So I'm like, oh, snap. Like, the 49ers, they converted 3rd and long. I don't want to see that throughout the regular season, but it was good to see that they were able to convert a couple of 3rd and longs in this particular game. And so, that, like I said, there's a lot to hang your hat on when it came to this game. There's a lot to hang your hat on when it came to this game. Even though they took an L, it's a preseason game. I don't believe that it meant that much. You know what I'm saying? Being that it's a preseason game. But there was a lot that the 49ers, I thought, did particularly well, even though they didn't come out on top. And so we'll focus on that today. Obviously, I'll do my grading, offense, defense, and special teams. We'll grade the 3 levels as well. But I thought the 49ers, I'm trying to tell you, I thought they played particularly well against the Titans. All levels, all 3 phases. You know what I'm saying? All 3 phases. And I was going over and I was looking at the PFF grades, and the highest grade was quarterback Brandon Allen out here. And I remember talking about with Peachy on the Overreaction show, like some of the players that stood out. Jake Tongs was up there, Jordan Mason, Chris Conley, and Tay Martin were the top 5 offensive graded players per PFF for the 49ers. So, just keep an eye, man. These were some guys that were in my top 10 guys to look out there for. Jordan Mason had a hell of a game, averaged 5.7 yards per carry. And you like to see that. Oh, I need more, though. I need to see him more in the pass pro game, which to me were the areas where he struggled the most. And he did pick up a nice little blitz, if I'm not mistaken. Not that first one though. That first play of the game, man, they sent that middle linebacker directly up the middle. I'm like, dang, the Titans coming out here, guns are blazing. Like, you know what I mean? Guns are blazing for the Tennessee Titans. But overall, I thought the offense again on that first drive, they looked very, very in tune. And again, yeah, Chris Hubbard, right? Aaron Banks, that's your starting guard. So Chris Hubbard started at left tackle. Aaron Banks, I believe Nick Zakelj was the starting center in this game with the first unit. And then on the right side, Dominic Purdy, rookie from Kansas, was out there balling. The Jayhawk, man. I mean, when I went back and rewatched the touchdown, Jordan Mason didn't get in. It was Dominic Purdy that grabbed Jordan Mason by the jersey and threw his behind into the end zone for that touchdown. And I'm not taking anything away from Jordan Mason. He had like 8 people on him. I don't know how one man can beat 8, but when you add a Dominic Purdy, it's 2 against 8. It's a touchdown every single play. Jordan Mason balled out, and then Dominic Purdy was like, nah, son, we getting in this end zone. This is going to be your touchdown today. So we got to give Dominic Purdy a round of applause, who I thought played particularly well. Actually, both rookie offensive linemen, in my opinion, played particularly well. They didn't give up any pressures in this game. Like, it's so amazing, right? So amazing to watch. So the 49ers may have hit the nail on drafting offensive linemen. Even Nick Zakelj. I'm going to go through that. I'm going to actually go through that. So again, I was talking about some of the offensive grades and things like that. Let me see if I could get through the pressure. Like, I want to know who gave up what. All right, so let's look at the offense as far as what they gave up in pass blocking, because I'm curious to know. Now, you got to take it with a grain of salt. Sebastian Gutierrez, he played left guard in this game. He played for 31 snaps, actually. And he had the highest pass blocking grade. Sebastian Gutierrez, he had an 88 pass blocking grade on 31 snaps. He gave up 0 sacks, 0 hits, 0 hurries. You know what that means? He gave up 0 pressures. Jarrett Kingston at the right guard. So your 2 guards that came in on the second team, Jarrett Kingston, 31 snaps. You ready for this? 0 sacks, 0 hits, 0 hurries. That equals 0 pressures. The 49ers may have not solved the offensive line, but they may got some dogs on this offensive line. Brandon Parker, right tackle, okay? 0 hits, 0 sacks, 0 hurries equals 0 pressures. I'm going to go through the 0 guys. Ready? You ready for this? Colton McKivitz, 25 snaps, 0 sacks, 0 hits, 0 pressures, 0 hurries, 0 pressures. They got it. Look, who else gave up? Let me see. Chris Hubbard. So Chris Hubbard, Ben Barch, and Drake Nugent, who also played in the game, they only gave up 1 pressure. None of them gave up the sacks. The sacks from the offensive line were 0. The offensive line gave up 0 sacks. I'm going to say that one more time. The position group that we were most worried about, and we could say that, they went against the 2s and the 3. Bump that. Our 2s were going against 1s on that defensive line from the Tennessee Titans. The offensive line gave up 0 sacks. 0. They gave up 0 sacks and a total, ladies and gentlemen, a total of hold up. Let me make sure I solidify this. Drake Nugent, Ben Barch, and Chris Hubbard. Drake Nugent, Ben Barch, and Chris Hubbard. They all gave up 1 hurry. They all gave up 1 hurry, which means they only gave up 1 pressure. So the offensive line only gave up 3 pressures in a 60-minute game. We got to give the offensive line a round of applause. This is the position that we were most worried about coming into camp. And Chris Forster, he can coach. He can coach. He's weird when he talks. He talks a long time. It's a long. But there's one thing I'm starting to understand. I trust Chris Forster with the players that he's getting. Now, I get it. It was a preseason game. And I get it. It was a preseason game. I'm going to say that again. And I get it that it was a preseason game. But a team that blitzed a lot in this game gave up 0 sacks and 3 pressures. Round of applause for the offensive line. Now you want to know, like, well, dang, the team itself gave up 2 sacks, right? The team itself gave up 2 sacks. Who were those sacks on? I mean, according to PFF, like they gave up the 2 sacks, but the quarterbacks definitely scrambled and did whatever. So they probably couldn't figure out who the grade the sack was on because, it probably came from a pressure from a different group. And so when you look at that, I'm saying to myself, all right, so who gave up quarterback hit? So Jordan Mason gave up a quarterback hit. So, his pass blocking grade was relatively, low, right? 16.2. But, and that's weird because I thought Matt Breida had a way worse blocking grade, but he also played more snaps than Jordan Mason. So it probably looked better. But the running backs were terrible. I thought the running backs were terrible in this game. And if the worst offensive lineman for the 49ers, I'm sorry, I read that wrong. They gave up more pressures. Isaac Allerson, the international player, gave up 3 hurries. He gave up 3 hurries. But again, 0 sacks. So he gave up 3 hurries. So you got to add 3 more to the other 3. So that's 6 hurries from the offensive line. So 6 out of the 11, they go to the offensive line. So look, that was just one player though. But off the top, man, I think the offensive line, looked pretty good. Fish and Chip says Breezie, the offensive line got swamped by the overloaded blitz. I seen it, bro. Trust me, I saw it. I watched it, and I'm like, dang. And that's something that I would love to see them work on in practice. I would love to see the 49ers defense show them more overloading blitz looks. That means they overload the blitz to one side, and they're just sending more players. And then if it's not an all-out blitz is when they send everybody but like the damn safety, right? Everybody's coming in there. The overloaded blitz is when they overload to one side, particularly probably like that weak side of the 49ers offensive line where they don't have a lot of help, right? Where there's no tight end chipping and helping out with the blocking and things like that. So they're just going to overload, stack that side of the defense and send guys going in. And that overload blitz took advantage of the 49ers offensive line. But again, that's why I said that's something that they can look to work on. I mean, and the blitzes weren't picked up to me mainly by those running backs and the tight ends. Like they weren't getting the hit. Like Cody Schrader gave up a hurry. Jordan Mason gave up a hit. The only quarterback hit throughout the game, to be honest with you. Everything else was a hurry, even though we saw a couple of sacks. Dobbs was sacked, whatever. But overall, I thought the pass blocking wasn't terrible, right? The pass blocking wasn't even bad, in my opinion, when I looked at the game. And if you go to the run blocking grade, I mean, Colton McKivitz, we got to give Colton McKivitz a round of applause. And Isaac Allerson, I think that's how you say his name, the right tackle position and run blocking, which is weird because I felt like the Niners weren't running the ball well, but they ran the ball particularly better to the right side. They ran the ball better to the right side. According to these stats from PFF, they ran the ball better to the right side. 14 snaps between these two players went to the right side. McKivitz finished with an 83.3. Allerson finished with an 81.8. Trent Taylor was the best run blocking wide receiver in the game too. Eric Sorbert was the best blocking tight end. And then to the left side, Aaron Banks. So your top 5 run blocking grades: Colton McKivitz, Isaac Allerson, Trent Taylor, Eric Sorbert, and Aaron Banks were your top 5 run blockers. And that's something interesting to see. Trent Taylor, I tweeted that Trent Taylor was making this team. If he's run blocking and returning and catching and things like that, like I'm curious, man. That 6th spot is going to be tough. That 6th spot is going to be tough. If the 49ers stick with 6, they may go with 7. Look, overall, if you were at the game, I'm sure you had a great time. Overall, I thought the game on TV, the TV feed was really good. It was a little slow at times, and you expected that because a lot of stallouts on the offense. The defense, had a couple of nicks here or there and things like that. But overall, I thought the game was good. The Niners had an opportunity to win the game. Unfortunately, they fell a little bit short. Just quick in the chat, just to do a little quick interaction with you guys. The 49ers scored 2 touchdowns in this game. They had the Jordan Mason run touchdown and the Josh Dobbs. Which touchdown was better for you on your eyes? Did you guys like the Jordan Mason touchdown, or did you guys like the Josh Dobbs, I would say, sky in the air, fly in the air, touchdown, flip over? And you know what made that one spectacular? He avoided a sack out of that too, right? Like, it was an overload blitz. He avoided the sack, ran around everybody, got in the end zone. Let's see, we got a Mason out there. We got a Dobbs from Fish and Chips. Man, let me know what you guys think. Me personally, that Dobbs touchdown was pretty because, one, he avoided the sack. Now, when Mason gets down to the 1 yard line, he better punch that junk in. Like, 3 yard line, excuse me. He better get in. That's Jordan Mason. Dude averages like 10 yards a carry, even though he averaged 5.7 in this game. But you know what I'm trying to say. That's a bulldozer. Like, Mason is literally out there like laying bricks. So I call him Brick Mason, right? Because he's out there literally laying bricks. Like, good luck, like, trying to tackle me. Good luck, right? So I expect him to get in. The Josh Dobbs one was a little bit more spectacular for me. Not because of the flip. Look at Jonathan Lamont Page says Dobbs with the John Elway TD flip, bro. And then the way he landed was so perfectly, right? I'm going to go outside today. You probably won't hear from me for the rest of the week, but I'm going to go outside and practice that flip because I want to see if I can land. Like, it was the land, roll, get up. Yeah, I don't know if I got the same, my bone structure is the same. I probably break something, but I'm going to go out there and try that, man. Let y'all know how that works out. Vince says Dobbs, well, it was an impressive scramble, man. You ain't never lie. Like, Peachy says Dobbs, Josh Dobbs, I almost ran in the field from Jax. That is too funny. Jordan Mason, Luke the Don, because of pony awareness, like we talked about pony grabbing him, right? I'm trying to tell you, man, this game had some good, what do you call that thing you watch movies? Not spoilers. Oh my gosh. It has some hidden gems, but I can't think of the term that they be using for that terminology for the hidden gems. Fish and Chips is Dobbs, because that's the thing that might have, Brock needs to take off sometimes just for keeping the defense honest, man. You ain't never lied. Matthew says Dobbs, and the only reason I say that is because it shows me we have a decent backup quarterback in case. The 49ers might be in a good position to have two decent backup quarterbacks. How crazy is that? Now, here's how that works. I think it may work in the 49ers' favor, right? If the 49ers go into the season with a Brandon Allen and a Josh Dobbs, they do have Mordecai, right? And so they may try to trade one of these guys to a team that may need a quarterback at some point due to injury or whatnot. And these guys are going out proving that they could come out and command an offense. Now, I thought that, in my opinion, and I'm going to say this, and y'all might disagree, but I thought in this game, I thought both quarterbacks played very well. I prefer, honestly, it's weird, right? I prefer the Josh Dobbs type of quarterback, but I thought Brandon Allen had a better command of the offense. I thought his accuracy was pretty decent. He had a couple of drops. He had a couple of bad passes, but overall, he looked more Brock Purdy-esque as far as being efficient and things like that. What I got from Dobbs was, oh man, like the reason why I like Dobbs is because he gives you that unknown factor, right? He can make a play out of no play type of thing. And I like that. And I don't think Brandon Allen is built that way, but Josh Dobbs doesn't look like he wants to go down. Even on the last sack of the game, it was like, nah, I could beat this guy. But it was like four guys at one point, ran himself into a corner, took a big loss, like 14, 15-year loss. And then if he didn't underthrow that ball, like if he had a little bit more arm strength, it's a possibility that ball goes over the DB head into a tip drill into a Niners hand, and the Niners could have probably scored. So, it was good to see that Kyle Shanahan, take that back. It was good to see Kubiak put the guns blazing out there and say, let's go win this game. I thought that was pretty cool for me. You know what I mean? So, yeah, man, Dobbs gives you that X Factor-esque type for a quarterback. Wearing number 5, stuff you thought we would get if we had Trey Lance here. That's kind of like who he resembles, right? More inaccurate, but has the ability to scramble, smart guy, can make throws, but there's going to be inaccuracies and not enough efficiency. So that's kind of what you're getting from Josh Dobbs. I wonder if that's why they went and got him in the offseason, because he still gives you that ability to run the ball as a quarterback. And I think Kyle Shanahan still wants something like that in a quarterback. He doesn't want that to be the end all be all, but he wants his quarterback to have the ability to scramble. And so we'll see what happens. We'll see which one. If they both make the squad, I don't know. But I thought they both played very well. In particular, Brendan Allen had the higher grade because he was more efficient, and you saw it. But Josh Dobbs was like, oh, shoot, it's good to see him out here. Like, he not the dude that, I mean, he did have the interception, but that was on a Hail Mary play, so you could take that with a grain of salt. But Josh Dobbs looks like he can run this offense as well. You know, I want to see Josh Dobbs with the twos. I want to see Josh Dobbs with the ones. Like, I want to see if it's a difference. Like, and if so, that means the 49ers got something. There's a possibility that they move on from one of the guys and bring up Mordecai, just like Brock Purdy was the guy that canceled out one of the backup quarterbacks. I think he canceled out Nate Sudfeld. So will Mordecai be the one to do that with one of these two guys? I think Brendan Allen is far ahead, and I think that Joshua Dobbs is far ahead. So I don't know about Mordecai out there, but we'll see what happens with the 49ers quarterback controversy. Boats, what's going on, baby? Thanks so much. Kylie's in the building as well. Jerry, I see you out there, dog. Tell me what video you need, man. I'll see if I can get it to you. All right. All right. So that was just a quick recap of the game. Niners lost, and I think it's all good. You know, I think it's all good. The Niners, I think, are going to be fine. Let's talk about the joint practices being canceled per Kyle Shanahan. And the Niners had one injury that was severe, if I'm not mistaken, in this game. They had an injury in this game to Ambry Thomas. He broke his forearm. And I know a lot of people want Ambry Thomas to be gone, and I get it. I want to know what we saw, but I went back and watched that kick return. That wasn't Ambry Thomas's fault. I know people were trying to put it out there and say it was Ambry Thomas because he missed the tackle. I mean, anybody would have missed that tackle because he was being blocked away to miss the tackle. Like, he got blocked out of tackling. So he was diving to make the tackle, and then he missed the tackle. But the person, to me, that should have been charged for that particular missed tackle was second-year linebacker Jalen Graham. So if you go back and watch that kickoff, slow it down. Jalen Graham over-pursues on the kickoff. He overruns it, right? Then he gets blocked out of the play. And now you're hoping that your other guys can get down here and kind of make the tackle. Samuel Womack gets blocked out of the play. So now you're going to get a big gain. And I will say that Jalen Graham kept the Jets on. He did not give up on the play, so you got to commend him for that. And Samuel Womack, you got to commend for taking the right angle to force the returner to kind of go out of bounds. And Jalen Graham came back and made the tackle. So go back and watch that play. That, to me, is what gave the Tennessee Titans any juice. Like, they had, like, on their first play, it was a return, and then they got the juice. This is right after the touchdown from the 49ers. So, like I said, I thought, you know, I thought Ambry Thomas, I thought he was particularly bad in coverage, in my opinion, in this game. But that particular play wasn't on him. Did he miss a tackle? Yeah. A lot of people missed that tackle because that particular returner was just a spinning. But here we go. Let's talk about coverage, and we're talking about grades here. Highest graded player in that game for coverage was Samuel Womack III with a 69.5. George Odom, 68.3. Tatum Bethune, 67.3. Ezekiel Turner, 66.4. And Jair Brown and Jalen Mahoney tied at fifth with a 64. Everybody else pretty much graded particularly low. Now, a lot of players played a lot of more snaps. I know Renardo Green's grade was bad, but I still thought on plays he looked good. Heads up play from Renardo Green, things like that. Again, man, like just good stuff to me from the 49ers when it came to, like, this game. You're going to get a lot of nuggets. I think that's the word I was looking for, nuggets, from this particular game. Now, speaking of nuggets, again, the practices have been canceled with the Saints because of the injury. Well, not just the injury to Ambry Thomas, but Kyle Shanahan spoke a little bit about them having about 23 injuries over the past week or so, and he's just trying to keep practice to themselves. Now they don't have to travel down to Southern California and L.A., where the joint practices were going to be held and things like that. How you guys feel about the joint practices being canceled? These are, and be honest, because don't try not to think about injuries as the reason. Be honest, because these are the practices that our coach covets, where he feels like he gets the best film. He could really get a good look at the players running the rep over and over again. They're controlled, right? And these are what Kyle Shanahan like covets throughout the preseason. He covets the joint practices more than everything, more than a preseason game. So how do you guys feel about the joint practices being canceled against the New Orleans Saints because of Kyle Shanahan put out there the injuries? They're piling up. Is this a great idea? They still got to play the preseason game. So I'm just curious to know, will the starters play in the preseason game? You know what I mean? So joint practices cancellations against the Saints, they won't be going down. And let me know what you guys think in the chat. I'll try to pull some stuff up, see what you guys saying out there in the chat. Maybe Jack says maybe he's seen enough. I doubt it. I doubt Kyle's seen enough. We got 2 more games to go and got to make crazy types of cuts. So definitely don't think he's seen enough. Corey, what's going on? Love you too, brother. But that's a good guess. I'm not gonna hold you on that. I just think Kyle needs these. Kyle uses these practices to really zone in on like who's getting beat, one-on-ones, things like that. So you know what I'm saying. We'll see what happens. But maybe I don't know if it's maybe he's seen enough. Who else got something out there? Let's see. I can't recall. Corey says I can't recall a joint practice being canceled because of injuries. I know, like that's why it's so weird, right? That's why this is so weird. Like for Kyle to come out and say due to the injuries, you know what I'm saying? That's weird. Like so, it's something new, something new. You know what I'm saying? Something new. We'll see. It's just something weird. Slick with the super chat contribution. Appreciate you, Slick. 68 special teams coach needs to be gone. I'm curious to know when Kyle Shanahan pulls the button. Now, I don't know. It's not going to happen now. But if I'm okay. I said this to Mike on I think Nothing But Niners, and I said this to him, and y'all could disagree with it or whatnot. But I said to Mike, he has to be properly evaluated when he has his starting special teams unit out there on the football field. When his guys are starting on the defense, now he's got reserved guys out there on special teams. Like, you get what I'm saying? So if this continues with the new rules or without the new rules, these big returns, these weird gains on special teams, I think Brian Schneider's job should be in jeopardy. I appreciate the super chat contribution and things like that. So thank you so much. You know what I'm saying? But Jonathan says he probably saw the fights. Good point. Maybe Kyle's canceling the practices not due to injuries, but then why say that? Maybe Kyle's canceling the practices due to the interactions between the players, because a lot of fights have broken out in these joint practices this year, more than any we've seen all season. We're not talking about 49ers. We've had some fights within our own practice, right? I already know they're going to fight the Saints. Matter of fact, we did a quick poll on the show. How many fights will we see? Over 2. I think we did on the Nitty Gritty Overreaction show. Because we know, like, things are going to go down. Like, you know what I'm saying? We know things are going to go down or whatnot. But, hey, it's interesting that Kyle's going to pull the plug. So, without the joint practices, I'm curious if Kyle Shanahan is going to allow his starters to sit again. You know what I'm saying? I'm curious to think that Kyle's, to go back to Jackson's comment, maybe he's seen enough. I think he might not let his starters play, keep that same offensive line unit out there, right? As they work on getting Trent Williams back, as they work on getting Brandon Ayuk back, right? And I think he lets the same units go out there for a series or two. and then let these guys come in, and so he can really sit and evaluate and see what he has with the depth. Because the key to me to winning the championship is being able to finish. And you got to find a way to finish with depth, because injuries are going to happen. They're going to pile up. It's just what happens. 49ers are suffering from a lot. They got 23 injuries, maybe now 24 with the Ambry Thomas injury, unless he's included in the 23. And the majority of them are hamstring injuries, right? You got a bunch of hammies, a calf strain, and you got 2 breaks, right? And so, like, 2 breaks. You got a broken hand for Spencer Burford, and now a broken forearm to Ambry Thomas. So, Jax, when you said maybe he's seen enough, maybe he doesn't need to see his starters in these joint practices. But that's when you know what I'm saying, who's going to be able to cook throughout the regular season when the ones go up against the ones several times. So, it's interesting to me. Like, I didn't expect joint practices to be canceled due to injuries, but I'm not mad. I'm not mad at it. And the Niners get to practice again within themselves. The Niners get a chance to get some players back. I need to see Ricky Pearsall. I want to see Ricky Pearsall out there on the football field. I don't need to see Brock Purdy. I don't need to see Deebo Samuel. I don't need to see Juwan Jennings. I don't need to see the people that I've been seeing for the past umpteen years. I need to see what these young guys can do. Can Dominic Puni go out there and stack another game? Because if Dominic Puni goes out there and punishes the defensive line again, oh, man, he's starting. He's starting. I see a couple of questions out there. We'll talk about that. Let me get to some of those. What do I think of Jordan Mason? I thought Jordan Mason looked like Jordan Mason. Like, Jordan Mason has always looked like Jordan Mason to me. It's only when he doesn't look like Jordan Mason when I start to question Jordan Mason. Jordan Mason looked like a running back that's running angry, and it's good to have an angry runner as well as a runner. The 49ers have different types of running backs. I don't think Jordan Mason has that super speed, but he runs angry, and it's really hard to bring him down to the ground. Now you're going to get guys where he's going to be gang tackled. But here's the thing. That's more wear and tear on his body. But Jordan Mason, with Elijah Mitchell dealing with, I think, a hamstring injury, right? With Elijah Mitchell dealing with a hamstring injury, this sucks for Elijah Mitchell because Jordan Mason is stacking games. And if Elijah isn't healthy to go again, he won't be traded. Can't trade a hurt player, right? Unless a team is dumb. So Jordan Mason clearly is rising, and he's probably that number 2 running back. Now, I believe it's going to be Elijah Mitchell if he's healthy, but if it's not, Jordan Mason's going to take that number 2 spot and run with it. And I think if Christian McCaffrey was unhealthy, Jordan Mason will be running back 1. The question is, can Jordan Mason pass protect? And in that particular game, he did not grade well. He did not. It's not his strength yet. But Kyle Shanahan can't dictate. You know what I'm saying? Well, he kind of can. He could call a bunch of pass plays and force Jordan Mason to see what Jordan Mason looks like. I wouldn't be surprised. Wouldn't be surprised in the next game against the Saints if Kyle Shanahan, because they blitz a lot too. If Kyle Shanahan comes out and calls 4 straight pass plays for the 49ers just to see if Mason can pick up, can he check and release? Check and release means he'll block and then go out for the underneath pass, the little check down, which I love, but the Niners don't ever seem to kind of use it like other teams because teams always be on it for some reason, I guess. But I would like to see, can Jordan Mason be a better pass protector? I think that's the only thing, in my opinion, that's hindering him from really transcending into that player, right? Pass pro is key, especially in a Kyle Shanahan offense where they like to run and they like to do play action pass. So the better Jordan Mason is running, I think more successful the pass is going to be. Jordan Mason on the first couple of plays of the game was averaging like 8 yards a carry. So Jordan Mason will always be that dude. Ronnie says, I missed the game. Who impressed me the most? Who impressed me the most in the game? My eyes were on the offensive line. So I was really looking to see how the pass pro was going to handle. And if Jalen Moore played, I wanted to see how well he was going to do. I mean, I could go with Dominic Puni, but I'm going to honestly go with Chris Hubbard. Now, I did not think Chris Hubbard would get a start, and I thought he would be a relief guy. But coming out there going against a number 1 defense, man, that dude was holding his own. So the Niners, to me, The offensive line in general was dope, and I know it's a boring answer, but I think Chris Hubbard impressed me the most because this was an acquisition that they picked up, and I didn't know. I didn't know he was going to flourish into this because the Niners don't particularly, from their rap sheet, they're not really good with the offensive linemen. When they get guys, they bring them in, blah, 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 whatever. So I think I was most impressed with Chris Hubbard in that left side without Jalen Moore, without Trent Williams. I thought Chris Hubbard played a dynamic game, gave up one pressure, and I was cool with it. Like, you know what I'm saying? So I know that's a boring answer for you, but Chris Hubbard was a guy that impressed me the most. Jack's 49er Girls Knox with a super chat contribution. Maybe he let the starters get in for a drive. I definitely want to see the rookies again, because they playing with a chip on their shoulders. Yeah, man, that was pretty cool. He let the starters come in for a series, and then he kindly removed them. And then you got a heavy dosage of what the depth is going to look like. And you know what's interesting about that, Jax, that you brought that up? Thank you so much for the super chat. What's interesting about that is the simple fact that it wasn't even a bunch of starters on that first drive. Jordan Mason's not a starter. There was only 2 starting offensive linemen, Aaron Banks and Colton McKivitz. Everybody else is a backup or a rookie, right? They're not starters, right? Your wide receivers, Chris Conley and Ronnie Bell started. They're not starters, right? And so, like, when you look, Eric Sauber, Brandon Willis started at tight end, or he started at fullback in this game. I can't remember what the formation was out there. They're not starters, right? So the 49ers, and Brandon Allen's not a starter, right? So even though they started in this particular game, it was really good to see the depth, in my opinion, offensively go up against starters. Now, I thought there were more hiccups on the defensive side without a bunch of the starters out there, and I felt like you were going to have that, the communication. But shout out to rookie Malik Mustafa. He would probably be the other guy that impressed me the most out there on the football field in this first game. Big hits a couple of times, not just once, couple of times in this game. Big hits, knew where to line up, knew where to be, had to get Ronaldo Green into the right formation, got him into lineup. So the communication from the young players was dope. Like, I got to give a round of applause to those young guys. Them young guys were communicating, and they adjusted on the defense, right? 14 points early, like no point, like, you know, and then a field goal later, right? So I thought they handled their own or whatnot. But again, just a quick recap. The game was good. Can't wait to the next preseason game this Sunday, which is upcoming. Joint practices have been canceled. Kyle Shanahan pretty much said due to injuries. Now, let me just read what he said, because I want to make sure I got that right. I don't want to misquote, you know, kind of like what Kyle Shanahan talked about. So let me get that out of here. And that's per Nick Wagoner. 49ers are canceling joint practices with the Saints and Irvine this week. Team is banged up, and the concern is they won't have the bodies to do the sessions right. That's why he's canceling them. So the Niners will remain in Santa Clara for practice this week, leading into the preseason game against the Saints. So good news is Kyle Shanahan's not going to, you know, further damage some of the players, and he's not forcing players to return back due to the little injuries that they have. So that's the bright side. You know what I'm saying? That's good. Like but it's football, and I believe and the thing is, these preseason games don't matter. Neither do the practices, like the joint practices. They're not something that matters. It's something that Kyle Shanahan covets and wants, but they don't matter. Right? They're not going to count against anything. The only thing they might do is get more banged up. And so you're going into a long season. He's eliminating these. I think there's more to it, but he's eliminating these, and they're going to find a way to beat the New Orleans Saints. You know what I'm saying? All right, man, let's get to the end of the show. We got these Brandon Ayuk trade talks. There was a report that came out that said Brandon Ayuk only wants to play for 2 teams, Steelers, Niners. Compensation from the Steelers isn't enough for the 49ers. The Niners, if they are looking to trade Brandon Ayuk, they want more. Okay? They want more. Now, I'm going back on the limb, not the limb, but my theory is Brandon Ayuk is going to be a 49er. And, you know, if I'm a 49er, like, there's nothing the Steelers have that I want, right? And if the Niners story is this, the Niners story is that they want a receiver in return. right? They want a receiver in return. So if they want a receiver in return and they can't get who they want from the Steelers, then the Niners just need to ante up and just say, bump it. You know what, Brandon Ayuk, I know this kind of went south. Let's go ahead and fix it. Let's hash out our differences. Now, the latest meeting between Kyle Shanahan and Brandon Ayuk happened. Kyle Shanahan had to intervene, which I remember saying in the 25th hour, Kyle Shanahan's going to have to come in and he's going to have to, mend the broken relationship. I believe. I'm not a fly on the wall. I wasn't in the room, but my belief, my faith is that I believe that relationship between Brandon Ayuk and Kyle Shanahan is being mended as we speak. I don't think it's all about money. I think it's more about that relationship. I think things were said. I think feelings were hurt. And I think as two men, they hashed it out. Now, how long will it take for the relationship to mend? I don't know, but I believe it's on the up and up. So with that being said, I think Brandon Ayuk should be signing sometime this week with the San Francisco 49ers. For the 49ers, it doesn't make any sense to kind of like hold on because the Steelers will probably wait to see how they get through preseason, right? If they get an injury to one of their guys, that's probably when the offer will come up, where they'll offer up the ante. For the Niners, though, I mean, there's no wide receiver that you're going to get that's going to come in here and do what Brandon Ayuk does. And so my thing is just figure it out. I'm sure at some point they'll get it going and things like that. So the news will be, I believe, my faith is saying that Brandon Ayuk will figure it out. All right, let's talk about this a little bit. Nick Knight says, should let B.A.M. Bro, this was my take. I promise you, this was my take. Give the dudes boxing gloves. Let them go 3 rounds. That's it. 3 rounds. 3 rounds of a minute, too. Like, you know how hard that is? Right? Let them go 3 rounds. Kyle Shanahan will probably quit. But it's not even Kyle. But I think they got to mend their relationship. I think that's kind of like what it comes down to, them finding a way to mend their relationship. CJ Gray, what's going on, baby? Says 49ers have to get better with these contract situations. It is like every season someone is upset about their money. Now, I expect everyone to be upset about their money. I expect the team to do exactly what they do every single year. I don't expect that to change. Why? It's just the way some businesses handle their business, right? And the Niners are slow turtle processing when it comes to handling business. The Niners are like dial-up internet speed. Remember Net Zero and AOL when you got them free CDs in the book? They're like dial-up. Everybody else is on like T4 connections, and the Niners are still on dial-up connection when it comes to contract situations. I don't expect that to get better, but I'm hoping. When you're talking about, I think it's harder when you're talking about a star player. I think it's easier when you're talking about a player that isn't a star. The quick way they got Juwan Jennings' deal done was amazing, right? But they also knew Juwan Jennings was looking to play for a contract. So I'm not saying Juwan took whatever came at him, but Juwan took whatever came at him. It was a contract. It was no more being a tendered player or things like that. Like they actually offered him a 2-year deal, right? Same thing. It happened to Drake Greenlaw a couple of years ago. Remember Drake Greenlaw was playing on a tender and he signed a 2-year extension with the Niners. Now he's up for a contract extension. So some players are going to take that to have some security. And I think for Brandon Ayuk, and I know a lot of people are pissed at Brandon Ayuk, and that is fine. That is your prerogative. You could be pissed. The reason why I'm not pissed is because I know that the kid is worth more than $14.1 million. That I do know. You don't have to believe it, but he's definitely worth more than 14.1. Okay. And on top of that, he's looking for security, not just this year, but for a few years in his, as he enters his prime. And I think for me, I understand that. And I think that to me is why I feel like what Brandon Ayuk is doing is a little bit more fair, because he's looking for that security. And if you can understand security, maybe you will see it the way I see it. And if you don't, it's okay. It's okay. You could be mad at Brandon Ayuk, even though he did nothing to you. You could be mad at him. So for me, it's more, I think I understand where he's coming from. Dude's looking for security for him and his family to move forward. And I also understand this is his first contract. And so he's trying to make sure he get it right the first time. And that way the second time, he learned some things. So whatever their number is, I believe that the two sides will find a way to agree on it. And I don't think, it'd be really cool to hear a story out there saying that Pittsburgh just said F it and pull out. They ain't got time for the shenanigans, right? And then it's going to force the 49ers to do what they're doing. So what Brandon Ayuk is doing is force the 49ers to sign him. Brandon Ayuk wants to play for the 49ers, and he's forcing them to sign him. He's declining. He wants to play for Pittsburgh. That's his story. That's what he's sticking to, right? But Pittsburgh is not willing to pay him and give up what the Niners want. So we'll see what happens. Anything else out there? How you guys feeling about Brandon Ayuk in the situation? I know we need it to be over. I know we want it to be over. Matthew wants them to go 3 rounds, 2 minutes each. I don't think they could go 2 minutes each, bro. But listen, that'd be dope. This is my take. That's what it is. Anthony says, I think it's not really about money. I think B.A. wants to give him, Kyle wants to give him a bigger role. Interesting. That is super interesting. Shout out to all the 87 people that are watching the show live, man. I love you. I appreciate you. Thank you so much. And thank you for sticking around, because we're going to be doing a giveaway within the next 5 minutes of the episode, right? We're going to be doing a giveaway right within the next 5 minutes of this episode, all right? So I tell you what, man, it could be that. But you know what makes that funny? Ayuk wants the bigger role. The question is, what is the bigger role? But I think so when I look at Brandon Ayuk, the kid wants the ball. He needs the ball in his hands. I remember his rookie season, Kyle using him in every way. He was running out of the backfield, and he realized he doesn't have the same body type as a Deebo Samuel, but he was still effective. I'm not sure that's what Kyle wants Brandon Ayuk to do, but there's a couple of things Brandon Ayuk does particularly well. He's very, very articulate when he has that ball in his hand. He knows how to go down. He knows how to withstand the right contact for some reason. He knows how to take care of his body, and his injury history says so. So I don't know. I don't know if that's the issue. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, it is what it is. I'm all about this life, Collie. I think the Niners just lowball their players, and it sends the players on a whirlwind to saying, "Oh, F this team." I think the first offer would be low, and then they just be like, "Oh, F this team, yo. Nah, this ain't it." You know what I'm saying? This ain't it. But we'll see what happens. I think Brandon Ayuk is again going to be signing very soon. No sources needed. It's just my faith and what I believe. You know what I mean? I know everybody wants sources. They want sources. They want backup. Where'd you hear this from? Where'd you hear that? I only have one source. You guys know who that is. All right. So, hopefully Brandon Ayuk is here, and the Niners can continue to trend upwards on their quest back to the Super Bowl. And I believe that they need him. I know I said that the Niners don't need him, and I meant in a sense where they don't need to pay another wide receiver. I believe that they want to, but they have a price. And I think that's where the negotiation and the stalls are coming in. The Niners want Brandon Ayuk. It's clear. It's obvious. I mean, it's clear. Yeah. And if it wasn't so clear, here's my thing. If the Niners did not want Brandon Ayuk, they wouldn't make the price tag so high. They just wouldn't make the price. Why is the price tag unreachable? That's the question I'm always asking myself. Why is it so unreachable? Why isn't it not more reachable and reasonable? Because teams are willing to give up some picks and player, but why is it unreachable? Why did the Niners? It's like the Niners want first round pick or first round talent, and this, and force the team to pay. It's tough. They make it unreachable, and I think the Niners are doing that on purpose because they want Brandon Ayuk to sign their offer. So it is what it is, man, when it comes to the Brandon Ayuk situation. All right, man, I said that those that are subscribed to the show, I'll be doing a Brandon Ayuk autographed jersey giveaway. All right, now these are from my famous place that I like to get my jerseys. All right, so let me get the number 11 so you can see the autograph right there. Brandon Ayuk. It's sealed in the bag. I've never even opened it. All right, and there's his name. All right, so in lieu of him returning to the 49ers, we'll be giving away this jersey. Now, I'm going to be doing a trivia question. I'm going to ask you the question and the answer that pulls up will be the winner, right? The first person that gets the answer right. All right. So here we go. I tell you what, we'll do a wide receiver trivia question. It'll be about a 49er who is current 49er. All right. And let's see if you guys could get the answer. All right. Oh, this is going to be fun. All right. You ready? In what round was 49ers wide receiver Chris Conley drafted in? In what round was Chris Conley drafted? Now, he wasn't drafted by the 49ers, but I want to know what round was he drafted in. And the first person that puts the round in there will get this jersey. All right, when I see that right answer, all right, when I see the right answer, Jax got the right answer. It was the 3rd round. Congratulations to Jacqueline Knox. Got to give her a round of applause. She came in at 12:01, right before Red Jet Shell, who would have been second. But Jax got the answer. It was the 3rd round in the 2015 draft. He was pick number 76. He was drafted to the Kansas City Chiefs, where he played the first 3 years there. Went to the Jacksonville Jaguars in 2019 to 2020. Houston Texans in 2021, 2022. Back to the Chiefs that same season. Did a year with the Titans, and now is with the San Francisco 49ers, looking to make the roster. So congratulations to Jax Knox. You are the winner of the autographed Brandon Ayuk jersey. I'll be needing your shipping info, and we will get that out to you ASAP. Guys, thank y'all for an awesome show. I truly appreciate you guys. Make sure you guys have your alerts set to all. If you're subscribed to the channel, you don't want to miss any of the episodes. Today we got the B.A.M show at 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. The Nitty Gritty Niners Talk show again tonight at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So please do not miss out on the episodes. All right. Listen, love you guys, man. Always stay up. Always stay faithful to the Bay. You know how we do. Until the next time on the WayneBreezie Show, I'll see you when I see you, baby. Peace out.
So bright that we shine at. All we know is the Niners. Ready go that is fine. We're so faithful to the Bay. I be sipping gold bar whiskey on the rocks, and a 24-karat gold on a watch. My 7-1 Chevy be tipping non-stop, sounding like Trent Williams on the block. So you know we can't stop, we be banging through your speakers. WayneBreezie on the field or in the bleachers. You can tune into my show and I'm a teacher. WayneBreezie, the 4-9 preacher. We so bright that we shine.